Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the marketplace with Uchonoche today. Um, Today, we're talking about something quite important, very important in the life of every leader, every entrepreneur, every parent. In every area of life today, you make decisions. Decisions are embodiment of life is an embodiment of decisions that you make every day. You make a decision to remain in marriage, you make a decision to have children, you make a decision what kind of business that you need, you make decisions on practically everything. You make decisions, do I go out today, do I come in, do I go out, do I when do I go out? When will I come in? You make decisions on which church to go. You make decisions which who will be your pastor. You make decisions on what you need to eat. And those things are their everyday life. So most of the time we forget that that we need to understand how to make decisions, especially during when you are under pressure, especially when there is high tension, high stress, highly stressful situations that happen. Because this is what separates the men from the boys. This is what separates true leaders from mediocre leaders. Being able to make decisions, tough decisions under tough circumstances, under pressure, highly tensed environment. That's where you know a leader. But the thing about life is that nobody just becomes a perfect leader. A perfect leader has a mentor. Yeah, leaders are born, leaders are made. But even the leaders that are born need fine tuning. They need mentoring for them to become excellent and great leaders. So each stage, at each point, you can also, if you're not a born leader, you also can train yourself to become a leader. Either way, you have to develop your skills. Yeah, you have to sharpen your skills that will help you to become a great leader. So it's not just about making decisions, because sometimes you make decisions during peace times, and yeah, you clap for yourself that you made a good decision. But what do you do when the atmosphere is tense, when there is chaos, catastrophe, when there is all manner of problems that are coming, when all manner of problems are coming your way? You know, they say you just wake up one day and you begin to have issues. You can begin to have series of issues. You know, when you have a serious problem, there's a habit of problems all coming at the same time. You have this problem, you have house rent problem, you have your child going back to school, you have one sick, you have so you can have 5 6 things happening to you at the same time. What do you do when you're under pressure? All right, you are at work, you have 10 clients, and all the out of the 10, 5 decide to go crazy at the same time. They want impossible deadlines, for you to meet impossible deadlines. How do you manage your clients? You know, what do you do? Or maybe there's a mistake on site or project, and your clients are screaming. What do you do under those charged environment and those tense situations? What do you do? This is the essence of this presentation this evening. What do you do? Okay, what do you do? So now let us go into the presentation and see exactly what we need to do when we are under pressure. Okay, giving you an overview, all leaders are under pressure to figure out, not just to figure out the issues, but to respond both internally and externally to current events. So events happen every day. It can be global, it can be national, it can be on state level, it can be on local government level. But events are happening on a daily basis. Things are happening on a daily basis. How do you respond to them? You are supposed to figure them out, and you are supposed to respond both internally and externally to issues. Example, internally, how do you respond? How do you position yourself to a government policy that is affecting your business, that could affect your business? You need to be able to interpret that policy and prepare yourself internally how to position for the coming, how to position yourself to survive and coast through that unhealthy policy that you might find yourself. So that is one way to figure out to respond. Then the second part is to effectively manage your team, because I told you leadership is about influence, not influence of influence of chairs or tables, influence of human beings. When we talk about organizations, it's made up of human beings. It is made up of human beings. So we are managing teams, which means human beings, through difficult situations. Okay, so strong leaders stand out by being able to make good decisions in high stress situations. But that's not always, is not always as easy as that. Before we go on to make to go on to how to make um, good decisions under pressure, I would like us to first of all take a look at the skills that a leader requires to perform this vital role of being able to respond, to handle issues, especially under charged environment, under stressful environment. There are some certain qualities, because if I tell you how to develop the skills or how to make those decisions, it will not be complete if I don't tell you the qualities that are required to make those decisions. So let us look at the qualities. The first one is the ability to identify critical factors which will affect the outcome of a decision. Ability to identify critical factors which will affect um, the outcome of a decision. So what do I mean by that? Being a strongly skilled decision maker requires you to have two things: excellent analytical and interpretive skill. Ability to analyze things objectively, clearly, is one of the strongest, I want to say, one of the strongest attributes or skills that any leader should have. Excellent analytical skills, to be able to critically analyze every step of the way on that object that you are focusing right now. So how do I analyze something has gone wrong? The first thing that you need is to be able to analyze what happened, you know, and not only to analyze what happened, how do you interpret? Then you should be able to interpret those your analysis. Because the thing now is, most people respond to a problem by trying to find out what caused it alone, or who, sorry, not what caused it, who is responsible, instead of finding out what caused it before we begin to get to the point of when somebody did not do his or her own job. So analysis and to be able to interpret it in an understandable manner is one of the critical factors that you need, or one of the critical skills that you need as a leader. These are used to determine the issues that must be addressed and accounted for in the deliberation, in your deliberation and implementation stage. So these excellent analytical skills and interpretive skills are used now to, when you want to address and account for the things that you want to deliberate on. So without this analysis, being able to put things in perspective, I have taught a few weeks ago, I've taught during our business series, I've talked about analytical skills. I've given, you can look for it in my YouTube channel, Uche channel on YouTube, and just scroll down and look for analytical skills. I think I've taught something on that, because how to develop analytical skills. This will help you to address the things that matter, not to get sentimental, but the steps. And there I even taught you the steps of how you can do this analysis. So analysis is a key skill that you need as a leader to make decisions under pressure. Okay, the second part is to evaluate options and accurately establish priorities. So effective leaders can assess the quality of our alternative. Being able to evaluate options and accurately establish priorities means that you can assess quality alternatives and explain the reason, and explain the reason, and explain the reason, explain the reason behind the evaluation. What are the quality alternatives? So you are not looking at it from one angle. You are able to accurately establish, evaluate all the options, all the alternatives, and be able to now establish, put them in priority, put them, create a list of priority, which one is top priority, which one is not. This is a skill. This is a skill, a strong skill, another strong skill that a leader needs to have, so that it can evaluating options and quality alternatives, so you can put things in perspective. Not everything is urgent and important at the same time. No, not everything is urgent and important. So you must be able to understand and to be able to categorize them in such a manner that will help you in your decision making. So this is the second skill. The third skill is to anticipate outcomes and see logical consequences about it. You know, there was a time that we were talking about logic, and in the corporate world, and they said, oh, men are prone to logic, and women are not, so perhaps they will not be suitable for them. It's not the top positions are not suitable for women because of the logical skills that come easily to men. But I tell them that women can equally learn it. There's over time, you sit iron sharpened iron. If you want to be wise, stay around wise people. You know, it's a skill that can be easily gotten, whether no matter the gender, whatever the gender, male or female, you should be able to learn analytical and logical skills, and there are steps to it. You know, so you can learn it. Whether you're a female, it shouldn't deter you in any way. So what do I need to anticipate outcomes? Are we God? Can we be able to anticipate outcomes and see logical consequences to it? Yes. Adept strategies, they draw logical inferences in precisely defined and tightly structured contexts. So this allows them to see the applications and the implications of all factors that shape and constrain decision making. So now, from being able to see the applications, like I said, when you are able to draw these logical inferences and through your analytical skills and be able to prioritize, what happens that now you can now look at situations. You can look at all the factors that shape and constrain decision making, and you will be able to make better decisions. Example, government regulations, government policies, basic assumptions, core principles and protocols should be considered. Now, if you have the analytical skill to be able to do that, if you have the interpretive skill to be able to do that, then you can say, because of these things, we can come to a logical conclusion. We can anticipate an outcome because we have critically analyzed all the options. all the alternatives. When you are able to do that, you might not be, I tell you that, and from experience, you know, when people, when 5 people gather and they have 20 years experience in the workplace, in the corporate world, so it means that out of 5 of them, 100 years experience is at their disposal. So what that means is that with this type of experience, we can draw a possible outcome, anticipated outcome, and say, if we go this way, and I tell you that most of the time you won't be far from the truth. And when you start to implement those things, those decisions, you realize that the things that you add to it will not be too much. So it is a tool for you to be analytical, interpret skills, put it in priority, and look at everything and logically anticipate an outcome. You know, that's what makes companies great. And you'll be wondering, how are companies doing this? They're doing it because they've been able, over time, been able to develop these skills that help them anticipate outcomes. Okay. Another one is, another skill that is needed is to navigate risk and uncertainty. The most accomplished leaders judge the most probable and best qualified inferences to draw in uncertain contexts. Information given may be uncertain or ambiguous, and the best inferences is not a foregone conclusion. The future is always unknown. You have to be able to navigate risk and uncertainties. Why? By following the first 3 skills, by understanding the first 3 skills, you can navigate anything, any risk or uncertainty. You know, the future is not known, but you should not be too far from the future anyways. And you should not be too far. There's what is called market forecasting. There's what is called future forecasting of businesses, of industries. And their people are paid high money. They are paid well for them to be able to forecast. You know, our stock speculations are based on people being able to come to logical conclusions and outcomes, and foresee outcomes, because they're able to look at things and properly analyze things. So analytical skill was the first. Is very important for us to be able to. Is very important for us to be able to foresee the future. So another skill that is very, very important for us is to reason well in context regarding requiring qualitative analysis. As a leader, you should be able to learn qualitative analysis. What do I mean by that? You must be able to analyze, interpret, and evaluate vital information as represented in charts, in graphics, in text, and in tables. I have a friend of mine, he didn't do sciences in school, and he was telling me, why am I telling him to be able to learn charts, graphs, text, and tables? Because this is the analysis that you use in the corporate world. Whether you read English, whether you're a lawyer, whatever you are, you must be able to interpret figures. I worked for a while. The last place I worked for a pharmacist that interprets figures better than accountants. Because as a leader, you should be able to, when you go to board meetings, they're talking about figures. They're talking about percentage. They're giving you information in graphs, in pie charts. So you must be able to interpret those things. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take anything. See, a matured brain can read anything. I was telling someone, I said, look, and I gave him articles to prove that he read history. And I said, do you know that now, the way you are, you can go and read medicine? He was lying, and he was laughing. I said, yes, at the age that you are, you can go and read medicine now, because you understand how it is not like the way you were, your brain is not developed. You are just feel that we are told that science and arts is this. And so we just say, I'm a science student, I'm an art student. You can read medicine right now. So there's nothing that you cannot. In our business school, we teach financial intelligence and financial discipline. And half of it is accounting course. We teach you basic accounting. You should be able to interpret the accounting figures, P&L account. You should be able to teach you management accounting. We teach you sources of finance and those things like that, financial accounting. We're not teaching you to become an accountant, but we're teaching you to understand figures. Because when you go to a board annual general meeting, they're going to give you the annual report. And the annual report is in figures. And the annual report is in charts, is in charts, in graphs, and text and tables. For me, like when social media started, I had to get my people in the office, the young people, they had to teach me how to set up meetings, how to do things, I needed to understand the basic elements of fundamentals of digital marketing. Because people that are 25 and below, they understand this thing better than someone that is my age. But I had to learn. Because now I speak, I'm always on social media, so I have to understand how it works. So don't say that they're not hard to understand. You know, you have to understand how to use spreadsheets. You have to understand how to use PowerPoint, because when you go for presentations, that is what you're not going to be reading out of a paper. People will be sleeping. But when you do PowerPoint, people are seeing those figures, and people are seeing images, graphics, and all that. They won't sleep. They will understand what you are doing. So graphics, whatever it is, you should learn. Get a young boy. I told a friend of mine, I said, get a young boy. Let him teach you these graphs and all that. Not for you to even learn, but for you to be able to see it and understand how it works. To understand what people are saying, to be able to interpret it. If you can't interpret it, you'll be lost at board meetings. So you must understand what numbers mean and how they can impact your decision. Because if you don't understand how these numbers work, how will you be able to, you will not be able to understand the impact it will have on the decision that you're going to make. And the decision you make as a CEO, it has impact on people. And the decisions you make in your business, it has impact on your profitability. So you need to understand figures. Okay, so now I've given you 5 skills. 5 skills you need to be able, as a leader, to be able to respond under pressure. But now, let me now give you the steps. Let me give you some steps of what you need to know, how you can make that transition, how you can make that decision under pressure. Because for leaders, you need to know how to make decisions. I'm giving you guidelines, but the thing I'm giving you is like teaching your son to ride a bicycle. I'm giving you the guidelines. I'm trying to open your mind to realize that your decisions matter. You know, the decision to marry, the decision to stay married, the decision to send your kids to school, which school to send them, all those things matter. And I was saying before that when things want to go bad, they really go south. You can have 5, 6 issues at the same time. Your clients are crazy. How do you manage two or three crazy clients at the same time? When things really want to go bad, sometimes they really go bad. So you must understand, how do I cope and make the right decision? I'm going to give you a few steps, and I'm going to give you a few pointers on what to do or how to prepare yourself so you can make these decisions well. The first one is to know the situation. The first thing you need to know, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. The better you understand the situation and all what it entails, the more likely you are to make the right decision. So, first of all, the first thing in a crisis is to stop and learn what is happening. Gather as much information as you can. about the situation. Put your research skills to good use. Now is time for you to put your research skills to use. You know, I used to wonder when you're writing your project in school, they will tell you what research methodology. I don't know whether you remember it. They will tell you to put research methodology. Now is the time for you to use that research skills and use them to study the relevant materials. Study it until you are intimate with it, until you fully understand what is happening. Don't rely on informal evidences to make decisions. What do I mean by informal evidences? Like your trusted friends. Don't rely on your friends to tell you. Your friends can exaggerate things. Don't be the first thing that happens to you. If you're calling a friend that this happened to me, it does not mean that don't take his advice. You have to source for the right information. It matters. You see, hard information matters, but a healthy mixture of information and opinions of those who have been there, somebody who was there, somebody that has experienced it. You need to get the hard information from people that have gone through it, people that are feasible. If it's a crisis, if it's if it's an incident or an accident, try to get as much information from people that were around. Get it is the best way, you know, because when things happen and you're gathering information, what happens is that you are seeing the big picture. And when you're seeing the big picture of what unfolds or what is going to unfold, because now I've told you the skills of being able to interpret possible outcomes. So now you should be able to also look at the fine prints. Fine print is that don't leave any stone unturned. Ask questions. Every single thing that you need to know about what happened. First of all, don't pass blame to your manager and be in your mind saying this somebody heads must roll. If something happened in a company, they say heads must roll. That is not the time. That is not the time to be thinking who you will sack because the company is losing money. No, it's the time. The first thing is to be silent, to be quiet, and let us find out what happened to us. Don't leave any stone unturned. There's a saying that says the small pebbles in their aggregate have just as much weight as a big rock. So try not to leave anything out. Try to understand what happened. That is the first thing. Knowledge is power, and from there you can move on to making good decisions. Another second thing that you need to do is to calm down, bring calm to a high stress situation. You are the leader, everybody's looking at you. You are the one that will bring calm. Even if you have no idea what to do, the first thing you need to do is to calm everybody down. Because if you are not calm, you are the leader, they are waiting, they are calling you, sir, the building is burning, this one is happening, they want to remove us from the tender, you are panicking also. Because when a company goes down, it is you, the leader, the CEO that will suffer most. You have more stake in it than them, you know, but you have to calm everything down. You know, you have to calm people, calm down the situation, and don't panic. Because if you panic, everybody is going to follow suit. So now I saw a valuable checklist that can encourage. I saw one lady, Becky Saltzman. He gave a list. I just saw it a few days ago when I was reading. And I said, well, this is a good thing to add it to my presentation today. He said, if you are in person, if you are present where there's in a stress environment, or maybe there's people are panicking, there's an incident, there's an accident, he says, first get panic people to look at you in the eyes. When people are panicking, shake them and say, look at me, you know, look at me in the eyes, and you tell them it's going to be okay. Calm down. I understand what is happening. Calm down. Make sure you have eye contact with people that are panicking. Because once you make eye contact and they see how calm it is, it has this calming effect on people that are panicking. Guys, cool down. And when they see, you know, calmness is contagious. They'll be watching, what is wrong with this man? Whatever is making him be calm, say, I want to follow suit. You are not calm inside, but you are telling them calm down, and they're looking at you. You are their leader, they will calm down. So if you are even leading a bunch of people, start by getting the most panicked people to look at you in the eyes and say, guys, calm down, calm down. Okay? Then when you're able to calm them down, you begin to validate how people are feeling. You validate their feelings so that it's not that make them feel that you validate their feeling by not making them feel that they are overreacting. Because that is an issue. You can do things like say, I know that you are scared. I see that you're uncomfortable, but calm down. This will pass. This bad wind will pass. This whirlwind will pass. When you acknowledge their personal truth, which is their personal fear, it communicates that you understand them. You understand what is happening. When the company is threatened, I say, guys, calm down. I know that this is happening. It means that you understand that their jobs are at stake. You understand that they have nowhere to go right now. So whatever the situation, you must first of all calm down the people that are panicking. That is the role of a leader in any situation. Then make sure, because they are agitated, they will be agitated. Everybody trying to talk. And when you calm them, you lower your voice. Don't shout. Don't raise your voice like them. Speak in a low voice. Guys, calm down, slow down. We're trying to gather the information. Within a few days, this thing will blow past. I just want you guys to calm down, return to work. This is what I need you to do. This will help them to calm down when your voice is low, and ensure that you've heard and understand, and ensure you have heard and understood the first time. See, like I said, in a crisis situation, calmness, because when everybody in a crisis situation, everybody is looking for solution. So when that calmness at that time is contagious, so everybody will look at you and will calm down. Then prioritize the truth. What are you going to do? What might happen scenario? When you begin to assure them of their safety and communicate, begin to assure them of their safety and communicate that you will get through this together. We all will get through this, pass through this together. You realize that you have calmed the situation. After that, you begin to gather information about what went wrong, and those will help you in your decision making. Because without calmness, you are not able to make the right decisions as a leader. Okay, the third one is to prioritize time-sensitive decisions. Not everything is urgent and important. You must be able to prioritize time-sensitive decisions as a leader. And so what do I mean by that? When you are in a high-stress environment, focus your attention on time-sensitive decisions. Ask yourself, is there a time-sensitive deadline that is causing me stress? Or am I the one that is bringing self-imposed stress to the decision? Let me give you an example. I was working on a project, and the client was putting me, we said we'll deliver in 3 months. And the client came and said, look, it's not going to work. We have to deliver in 1.5 months. And it was creating a lot of stress. And we negotiated and we said, okay, for us to be able to do it in 1.5 months, it will cost this. He was not concerned about the cost. He just wanted it to be done. So I had to be under pressure to deliver. And we were like gathering, what do we need to be able to deliver in 1.5 months instead of 3 months? So we're gathering that, but there were other projects as well. And so when those other projects, I realized that I was now also handling those other projects based on the pressure this guy is giving me. But I didn't have that pressure in other in the other projects I was handling. So you must make sure that whatever you are doing, what decisions you are doing, it must be time-based. So not everything should be urgent and important at the same time. If you take that stress into other projects, you will make wrong decisions. So realize when you are self-imposed, when you are bringing self-imposed stress onto yourself. So when you want to take on a project, make sure that you are right on the time that you need to carry out that project. Don't accept a project because you feel that the company needs an inflow, and a project of 2 months, you say you can do it in 2 weeks. Because there are people that do that. A project of 2 months, they say they can do it in 2 weeks, and they know they will not be able to deliver. That is lack of integrity. See, you can, I always tell people is don't eat from everything that you can from one client. It's repeated order that keeps you in business. It's having a repeated clientele that keeps you in business. So having all these clients and you are relating with them based on integrity will make you last longer than in business than say, look, I need the money, so we will lie. Yes, you can get away with 1 or 2 clients, but after a while, if you lie to me that you will deliver in 2 months and in 2 weeks, what you know you deliver in 2 months, I will handle the situation, but after that you won't see me again. Tell them that if this person calls this office, please bar their number, and before you know it, you will be losing quality clients. So try not to put yourself under pressure when you are with your deliverables. Try not to put yourself under pressure. But pressure is work. There's always pressure in the workplace, but try as much as possible to prioritize. When you're able to analyze situations, prioritize, it will help you to make the right decisions. Stress is usually stemmed from internal reaction. It's about stress is as a result of internal reaction to a situation. So what it means is that a situation that is high pressure involves external forces that are driving you to make immediate decisions. So those external forces, you have to wait. Every time there's need for pressure has to be analyzed, assessed fully, and before you be able to know exactly what to do, and don't put yourself under undue pressure because you make these mistakes. Let's say that you need to figure out how to care for a sick person. You know that this is high priority. You have a family member that is sick. This is high priority. You know straight away you need this and this, and this is what you want to do. But assuming now you're a manager and they say, look, within the next 6 months, we need to downsize, or we need to right size, downsize, anyone you feel like. So it means that you need to take time to be able to assess the people, why we need to let some people go, why we need to let some people, go. So those two, there's no pressure. The pressure on letting people go, you have like 3 months, you have like 2 months to be able to go through everybody's file and profile and see who we can let go. It's different from a family member that is sick. That one is urgent and important. And so with the projects that you have, I always tell, especially maybe because I'm conversant with construction sites, so sometimes I tend to, but it's the same thing with consulting generally. There is always, it's always pressure based. There is always pressure based. But try as much as possible to analyze this work so you are not under pressure. When you allow, every client wants his job now. So when you allow yourself to be put under that pressure, you make decisions, and some of those decisions can cost you money. So it's important that you understand how to prioritize time-sensitive situations. So it's certainly a stressful situation But if you rush into making hasty decisions, what happens is that before you are taking time to assess the situation, it might result in poor outcomes. And nobody wants poor outcomes at home. And sometimes you are in a meeting. Your mind is always trying to put you on the spot to make a decision. Or maybe you are in a board meeting or a meeting, whatever meeting, your bosses are there. Sometimes they want to put you on the spot. And they want to put you on the spot because they want you to deliver on time. It's normal for you to begin to feel to answer right away. Most of the time I see people make that mistake in a meeting and they want to answer right away. It's perfectly okay and a sign of strong leadership if you take your time. Tell your boss or tell whoever, please, can I take time to, because of this asking me, you can, over time, you can say, sir, you've asked, this is what you are saying, but I need to consider this. I need to check this. I need to check out this. And I can't do that in this meeting. Can you give me 1 or 2 days or a week to come up with something? It doesn't make you weak as a leader when you ask for more time. It doesn't make you weak. Some people feel that is a sign of weakness. They should think on their feet. I'm a leader that I think on my feet, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a weak leader. When you take time, the important thing is making the right decisions. So in making the right decisions, you need time. It's far better to respond thoughtfully and thoroughly than to respond quickly and make a fool of yourself. In a panic, we offer solutions too early before all available options are considered. You must make decisions when all the available options are considered, especially if you're feeling judged or evaluated in a high stress moment. That is not the time that you consider making a decision on the spot. Take your time, consider all the angles, and return with a well-reasoned decision. A well-reasoned decision. Like my people here, I always tell them, look, I like to see what they have done. Not that there's a problem. There's not a problem. Not that I have a problem with a problem arising. But I want to know, what have you been considered? Has it been considered? Have you considered it before you come up with a solution or a decision? I like to see how the people's brain work. So I want to see what you have done, how you have thought through it. It makes me happy that I know that I have people that think through things, not people that will just say one thing, the first thing that comes to their mind. Most of the time is not normally correct. Okay, another way of how to make decisions in under pressure is how to know, how to develop yourself to know outcomes from certainty of information that you get. You must, after getting all the knowledge, I've told you that knowledge is power. When you get that knowledge, what happens? I know that you are not God, but there are a lot of people that are paid to forecast. People understand industry trends. They can look at the trends. They've seen, they know how to check the trends for the past 10 years, 20 years, and they'll be able to forecast. And that forecast, most of the time, is near perfect. Because they have 20 years, they've seen it. And things have a way of coming back. It's just like fashion. The fashion of the 1960s and 70s is coming back. Look at young people now, they are keeping beards. Beard was something that in the past, I saw someone in church on Sunday, he had this haircut that there are different levels. I saw that picture. I saw my dad have that haircut in the 60s or in the 50s. So things have a way of coming round. But what I'm saying is that when you get all the information, it's now time to make predictions. Because every leader must make predictions and those predictions end up in decisions. And so you must have enough information gathered for you to be able to now make the right decisions, because all your decisions Remember, as a leader, as a CEO, as a manager, as a GM, all your decisions are going to have an impact on somebody or something or the project. So it's important you have that at the back of your mind. Don't be too quick to say things. So there's no way you can know the future. I know that. But the knowledge you have gathered will help you get closer to making the right forecast. So then make the best predictions you can as to the outcome of the various options you have at your disposal. Okay, things like, what are the short-term effects of this thing, of my decisions? What are the long-term effects? Will this affect lives and people? All those things put together will help you to come to a good conclusion. Okay, another way to make decisions, how to make excellent decisions under pressure, is to consult with the objective. You must consult with the objective. What do I mean to consult with the objective? Talk to objective people. People that are not necessarily your friends, who are experts and knowledgeable in the area you need to make a decision in. Objective experts can look at your decision without emotional attachment to you and give you advice on the best course of action. People that I go for advice, we're not usually in the same industry. I can't really say that we are that intimate, but we are cordial enough to give ourselves advice. And this is what led me to, on Wednesdays by 4 p.m., every Wednesday I have a coaching session. I come live for 1 hour to answer people's questions. And these people, I don't know them. I'm in the city of Port Harcourt, but people ask me questions from Lagos. They just put Mary O, Femi A. You know, people ask me questions from Maryland, from this, from India, from Kenya, from wherever. They ask all those questions. It's easy for me to advise them. I give them objective expert or objective coaching or answer to what they ask me all manner of things. You know, in the area of business, career, leadership, personal finance, and relationships, be it marriage, corporate, or personal relationship. I get asked a lot of questions on marriage, you know, and I answer them on Wednesday. What I taught today, somebody can ask me on Wednesday, and I answer them, and I don't know them. And you must have people like that, you know, that will just answer you. They have no, there is no contention, there is no competition. People that can just tell you the truth. Guy, I think that this thing you are doing, this is, and they tell you it's left for you to take it. Okay, that is one aspect of it. But if you don't feel you could live with the result of the decision these people have suggested, or does not align with your core values and your belief, it's not stupid to say you will pass the advice over. You know, you don't even have to take the advice, you know, if you don't feel good about the advice a mentor is giving to you, you can always have second opinion. Even when you go to hospitals, not because somebody is a doctor, he tells you the first thing and you believe. If somebody is prescribing or diagnosing something that you don't feel it's about your body, you don't feel so, ask a second opinion. If you do a test, it comes out this, you should try one or two other labs. So if someone gives you an advice that you don't feel like, seek a second opinion. Or, you know, when somebody gives you advice, you can say you can try this, or you can try this, or you can try this. So if the first one doesn't work for you, you can try the second one, try the third one, you know, process it in your mind, go through the steps that I've given you today, and come up with the right decision that work for you. What I'm simply saying is that experts sometimes might not give you, don't say somebody is an expert, you take everything hook, line, and sinker. Thank them for the advice, but process it in your mind and take what suits you, what works for you. Okay, so all right, then I think the last one is to commit. How to make decisions under pressure. You have to commit to it. The thing about difficult situations and decisions you need to make under pressure isn't just that they are hard to come by, to make it first in the first place. But the thing is that it's hard, very hard for many people to commit to the decisions they have made. It's very hard to commit it. You know, talk is cheap. To analyze and do all those things is cheap, but to commit to it, if you have followed sound process of determining the best course of action and the advice you have attained is a sound advice, you know, then it becomes clear on what next to do. Because sometimes what I'm saying is that good decisions remain on the shelf. Good decisions must be implemented for all to see. So you might go through all the processes and you are not committed to it, you are not implementing it, then it's as good as not making any decision at all. So you must commit to those things that you have said. Some people I've seen excellent CEOs and managers, they come up with the best decisions for whatever problem they're going through. But you know what? They don't commit to it. They don't commit to it. And if you don't commit to it, it means you have just wasted time. You have just wasted the process and wasted time in the process. So commit to good decisions. Commit to the good decisions you have arrived at. If not, you have just wasted your time. So let me conclude like this. We are living in uncertain times. So it is time that many people want to make changes in life and make big decisions. You know, to travel right now with this pandemic, there's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of businesses are folded up, or on the verge of folding up. There's still a lot of uncertainties. We also live in times when many more people are facing difficult times. Like now in my city, there's curfew. You know, and because of the things happening in our country, we are making decisions. People are saying, do I relocate out of this country, relocate my children? What do I do? People are in need of making decisions. People are saying, I need a dual citizenship because we don't know if this country is going to remain the way it is. So there's a lot of things happening. Right decisions. We need to make the right decision. So it seems pertinent to suggest a way of dealing with these things. And I hope that these guidelines I've given you will help you. You know, Nigeria, Africa, we are in need of decision leaders that make quality decisions.
Making decisions under pressure.
In politics, in government, business, even in our homes. We need to be able to make quality decisions. And like I said, life has a way of showing you all manner of uppercuts. And sometimes when things want to go bad, they go really bad. That is where leaders are born. That is where leaders are made during those tough decisions, those tough times. And your decision, the quality of your decision determines the quality of leadership you're going to offer. See, being a CEO, an MD, a manager, a GM, we will test, every day, that job will test the quality of your leadership skills, your leadership ability. That's where we see leaders we admire. This is where they emerge from. This is how you can become a strong leader during tough times. You never know the strength of a ship when it's docked in the harbor. The strength of a ship, you can be making mouths that have built something stronger than Titanic. But until you sell it, you will not be able to know how strong it is. And these steps I'm giving you today is what can help you to become a strong leader, because our country, we need strong leaders now. In the business space, we need strong leaders that can bring out big ideas, strong, that can bring out ideas and turn them into global brands. It takes a strong leader to be able to make that decision. You know, this is why I do what I do. I do this as CSR. People tell me, Uche, why do you bring up all these topics? Because I know that we started this during the pandemic to help people. There are 5 focus. We call it 5-fold ministry here, but our 5 focus is what? Is in business, career development, leadership, personal finance, and relationships. These are the 5 areas we cover in this place. And people ask us, because I feel that, and the leadership series, I enjoy the leadership series because everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. If you get it right, if we get it right with our leaders, then we are getting it right everywhere. So I'm passionate about raising leaders. The next Africa must be mindful of the emerging leaders that will take it to greater heights. And I believe that our commission and this foundation is one of the vessels that will help groom these future African leaders. And the work has started. Marketplace Apostle is not just in Nigeria alone, but it is making sure that we are able to groom people from our continent that can become leaders. And to those of you listening to me, I know that you are in one form of leadership or the other. I wish that we can communicate more on this. I'm still doing this leadership series for the next 2 months. I'll be talking on leadership. So just do me a favor. I ask today. Leadership is everything. Everything rises and falls on leaders. So if you know somebody that is in leadership, or in all of us, we are in one form of leadership or the other. So please just do me a favor. When you get this notification next time, just send it to someone. Send the link to someone. This is what I ask. This is what I ask of you. Okay, someone, I need to mute someone. Please, guys, those of you on Instagram and those of you on Facebook, next week, perhaps you can move to Zoom. If you can just like our page, you can see our advert, because on Zoom I teach with PowerPoint, and you can gain more from the PowerPoints that I use on Zoom, because I told you, leaders, one of the skills they need to learn is analytical skills, numerical skills, to be able to interpret graphs and pie charts and all those things that I use in board meetings. So it's good for you to also see these presentations on PowerPoint, and it is on Zoom and on YouTube. You can follow me. All my teachings, most of them since last year when the pandemic started, is on Uche Onoche channel. So check out my Uche Onoche channel on YouTube. You will see all my teachings there. All my presentations are there, and they are in PowerPoint. So if you want, please, you can move over to Zoom. It's at Zoom I have most people watching this, on Zoom and YouTube. So you can move over, those of you in Instagram and Facebook. But if you are cool with it, I'm also cool with it. You can do that. You can view from wherever you want to. So okay, thank you. At this point, I will leave you guys. Thank you. You can ask me any question on Wednesday. I'll be here to answer you. Until then, I want to wish you good night. I mentor people. I will just ask them to put the link. I mentor people on a regular basis. So if you want to part of people that I mentor on one-on-one, I'll ask them, please tell them to put up the link. I'll tell them to put up, to those of you to those of you on Instagram and Facebook, you'll put up the link for you now. You can follow that link, then you can have one-on-one with me. Okay, thank you. I want to thank you for coming live with me today. I hope to see you on Wednesday. If you have any question, or you know someone that has question in this our 5 areas, areas of focus, you can ask. That is business, career development, leadership, personal finance, and relationship, which covers marriage, career, or personal relationships or any kind. So please, if you have any questions, you can ask me, and please just send this link to someone. I hope to see you guys. So I've come to the end. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being with me. Good night. Have a good night rest and get to your home safely. Thank you. God bless.